right, we on live, y'all. QVC archives. We got Aluna Tarot in the building. Looking gorgeous as always. Talk about I gotta get my good side on some Leo shit. How you doing today?
I just want to say I'm so on board for the QVC movement. I'm just so proud that we have a platform that's representing us, definitely a part of the Black and queer community. So proud to be a part of this, definitely.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you for supporting like this. This is like, the QVC archives is just, for me, most definitely, it's just like another way for us to really connect. Like, it's one thing to kind of be on social media and like retweet and post stuff here and there, but I actually wanted to like kind of swerve off of that and actually people get to know, even though we're not sitting in front of each other, but actually people get to know the people in the community, like, you know, face to face, get a person.
Absolutely, yes.
So, yeah, so here we go. So I'm excited. I've been waiting for this. I'm like,
I guess you. I'm like, do not have me blushing on the camera because I will. Okay.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us the pronouns, your sign, and where you're from.
Okay, well, I'm a Leo. My pronouns is she, her, and they. I am from Miami, Florida, but I live in Fort Lauderdale now, so Florida native. And what else did you ask?
Just a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a tarot reader, as the name suggests, Aluna Tarot. I have been reading tarot for like 5 years now, so I'm very much into the esoteric, spiritual awareness, healing, and just evolving as a conscious light being. So my journey just has been a tumultuous one, of course, for all of us in the queer community, but also a metamorphosis, a beautiful realization and actualization of finding myself. So I realized that I have this gift and wanted to share that with people. And that's why I created Aluna Tarot, to read for people, sip tea with people, you know, get real with people. So it's been very much rewarding. It definitely has.
That's what's up. So, I mean, that kind of brings me into the next question a little bit, just touches on it. So set the scene. Like, what was your first experience with tarot, and like, how did it develop you spiritually and professionally into what it is now? Kind of like set that scene for it.
Okay. Well, ever since I was little, you know, my grandmother and mother, the women of my family, they've been very much into playing numbers, going to see the lady to play the numbers, going to get their tarot readings. So I was like in the Botanica shop every week, just in the smell of incense and just oils and baths. And I never, you know, I'm like a little kid. I didn't know what any of that stuff meant. But as I got older, probably in my early teens, I started to have these gifts develop, and I was able to perceive auras. I was able to pick up on frequencies of people. And I was a very sensitive child. Like, I was just always hypersensitive. Sensitive to signs, sensitive to people's perception, sensitive to, I just had hypersensitive awareness. And, you know, being brought up in a society and a culture that is predominantly Christian oriented, you know, you're taught to suppress and repress a lot of those things about yourself. And you're living in fear of like, if I develop this, if I explore this, if this is truly who I am I going to go to hell? You know, that's like the baseline for everyone who's queer or gay, you know, that's like the life lesson.
Right. It's like,
am I going to hell, right? So it was very hard, you know, it was very hard in the beginning, finding myself, actualizing myself, and just, it was very tough. It was very tough, very ostracized. I felt very ostracized in my teen years, very alone. I mean, I went through, and the funny thing is, I know that I give off on my channel and just my overall appearance just is very warm and very friendly, but it was very hard reaching this point of being okay with myself and finding that bliss within myself and actualizing that. So when I turned about 19, I got my first tarot reading. And I remember the tarot reader, she said, she laid out some cards, honey, and she was like, you got a gift with you. You know, you have your spirit, you have your ancestors watching you, and they're really ready for you to take this journey into exploring your spirituality, but you're not ready yet. You know, you're not ready yet. And very much I wasn't. I was like, at that time, honey, I was trying to get into whatever club I could get into, get drinks, get specials, have fun, you know, date. And I was just kind of like, okay, well, that's fun. You know, it's kind of ego boosting to hear that you have those, you have that gift. But a little later on, I had a very traumatic spiritual awakening experience, okay? And if I were to go into that, it would be this whole video. So I'm not going to explore that. But I'll just say
how
that,
you feel.
no, it would take like, it's a video on its own, trust me. But it involved me actually being attacked by a darker entity, in which it was just, it was like my awareness was heightened. I was alone. I was staying at a friend's house, and my friend, he had an antique television set, like something from the 70s. And I believe now with my, you know, better knowledge that a spirit was attached to that antique set. Maybe it was a gift, maybe the TV set belonged to that actual spirit, and just me being aware as I was, but yet not trained or, you know, into that as at that point, I was attacked. And it was like a psychic attack. So to explain that further, it involves basically, it feels like a spirit mounts you, and they're feeding you all these just hysteria, just madness, just depression, anger, all those resenting and really just intense thought forms. And it was intense. I didn't know. I was like, whoa, like, what is this? And I thought like I was losing my mind. But eventually I got over that experience. And at that point, I realized, I was like, I'm going to have to explore this, because if this is the type of awareness that I have, and this is sensitivity that I have, I need to have better practices to protect myself and keep myself aware and keep myself balanced. So I was like, you know, tarot, honey. Like, I've always had an interest for tarot, and I just started exploring there. And at first it started off as just a hobby, collecting cards, being drawn to the aesthetics of it. But then I was like, you know, I want to go further. I want to explore deeper. And I started studying the meanings and studying the esoteric understanding of it. And that developed and grew into what I do now, which is read tarot. So that's pretty much the stage of how it's all come to be. I've also been a part of a radio blog talk show by the name of Triple Chalice Tarot, where we were doing readings. We were talking about the cards, sharing our perspective. That was very fun. And that also pushed me to believe more in my gifts and put my gifts out there and explore myself more in that aspect. And so that was like the nest. And then now I got to Aluna Tarot and offering people reading services and doing the YouTube and everything. And it's just been like, wow. And I'm really proud of how far I've come, not only as a reader, but just as a queer Black reader in the community that's predominantly, you know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
So it's like, yes, girl, you know, you're making your mark and you're coming forward. And it's taken me a long time to reach this point, because us as queer and the LGBT people, we have to overcome so much psychologically, so much spiritually, so much just, I mean, the repressed and the suppressed is just so much. And a lot of people even still don't reach that point. So it was a lot of battling, a lot of digging out some trauma, facing trauma, dealing with dirt, dealing with all sorts of things. So I'm growing, I'm blossoming, and I'm definitely happy with that. So yeah.
That's a word up.
I hope I didn't get too deep on you.
Nah, like it's never too deep. It just, I was telling Quenisha in one of the last interviews I did, like just listening to y'all tell y'all stories and just how y'all, you know, where y'all going, where y'all came from, how y'all doing. It's just really, for me, it's a healing process. It's like, because even though I wasn't there, and even though I didn't go through it with you, it's like feel you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like I feel you. Like I
The
really
experience is
do.
pretty universal, you know,
Yeah.
us with the trauma that we all have to overcome and that we've had placed on us at such a young age, you know, like we're children and we're being reprimanded and disciplined for characteristics that we can't even explain, you know, gender, sex,
Right.
race, you know, things that it's like, okay, we just got in this bitch and you're like trying to
Right.
ask because what? You know, I didn't even know that this was a problem. So
Right.
it's just, I definitely understand where you're coming from with the universal experience of being queer. You know, it's hard.
Yeah. It's been an interesting road. To say that for sure.
The
So tell me
least.
a little bit about like the process. Like what's your process like in your readings? Especially when it comes to channeling like those monthly signs. That you-
Well, you know, it's taken a lot of, again, work of connecting to the spirit realm, removing blockages within myself, removing fear, removing, you know, the dogma of Christianity and that fear of exploring that aspect of myself, and also connecting with my ancestors, connecting with my spirit guides. And I come to them very humbly. You know, I always approach them and I'm just like, I'm a very modest person and very humble person by default. You know, I can kind of, but you know, now. But by default, I just have my moral disposition is just upright, you know, and so I approach my spirituality in the same way. I make offerings, you know, to my spirit family. I do have an altar. And I just asked them, like, listen, you know, this is, and I've been feeling the push. Oh my God, they've been pushing me so much. They want me to get on camera. They've been wanting me to do the whole Aluna Tarot thing. They've been wanting me to just like, they're like, Miss Thing, girl, like, go get your ass out there and do it. So they've really been backing me 100% on this journey. So when I come to them and I say, you know, I'm going in for the monthlies, or even when I have a client, I always pray and I'm like, you know, I'm coming to this authentically. Let me relay the most relevant message to their situation. And I remember I was doing a reading for a client and she said to me, she's like, I like your reading style because you're very therapeutic. You know, you can say, you can give the real tea, but also you do so in a, you
You do
know,
be giving that tea. You do be doing. You be
I be
like,
getting
ooh,
it. Them
you be
YouTube
like, you
comments,
be like, something seem a little messy here.
yes,
I
them
don't know what's going
people
on.
are like going in, and it's always a key to read. But she's like, you also deliver the truth though.
Right.
And I make sure I do that. I don't want to ever sugarcoat anything to the point of taking someone around in a circle. But at the same time, I understand that we're all going through our experience and I'm not here to judge. You know, I'm here to relay to you what the spirits want to share. So I'm just the messenger. It comes through and I try to do so in a way that's therapeutic and also that allows people to feel safe. You know,
Right.
because it's like there are some people out there, there are some readers out there that they're very like, girl, you know, and they hit it really hard and that's their style. And some people are drawn to that. But I also understand that people are going through things and people sometimes just want to talk to me or talk to some readers just to feel safe and let things off their chest that they would not tell anyone else. You know, that people come to me as a total stranger and just open up sometimes that they don't open up to their friends, their family, close family, spouses. So I very much cherish that. I respect that. And I make sure that I'm mutual in that respect. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it works, pretty much.
Right. Right. So, I mean, just with that, people opening up to you and really pouring that energy into you. Like, what do you feel? How do you process that energy and like really just clear that out? Because I know that's heavy. I mean, we talking
Very,
about all these
yes.
energies coming at you at once. You know what I mean? So
It is. And you know, when I started about last year doing readings publicly for people, and I was doing readings for free. And now we get into this whole thing about value and developing boundaries for yourself. So I was doing readings for free for people, and I just like run into sometimes loony people, and they would just pour so much onto me, and I didn't know how to filter and set up a healthy boundary or barrier to discern. And I'm a very empathetic person. So you tell me if you're crying, I'm like, what's wrong? Like, damn, can I help? And that sort of trait can make you very vulnerable when you're dealing with people like that, and people are constantly bombarding you with your energy. And I've gotten a lot of times people come to me and they just say like, oh my God, like I love your energy, I just want to talk to you, or something like that. So it's been this process also about developing healthy boundaries to know when to say no, to know when to say, okay, the situation sounds a little too dire, maybe I'm not the best to do a reading for you. Or to say, okay, no, I just don't feel comfortable doing a reading for you. And also daily cleansings, grounding exercises to clear myself, clear my cards, clear my home space. But normally when people come to me and they just open up and they share so much, and I'm just there to get that, to make sure they feel a sense of safety and relief. So once they feel that, on top of paying them coins, girl, once they feel that, I'm elated, I feel good. I'm like, okay, I've done a service. I share in that feeling of relief because I know what it's like to feel lost, or I know what it's like to have uncertainty in a relationship, or what's your next step in life, or what's going on? Things are not falling into place. Is it something with me, or is it something with the spirits? What's the lesson here? So I know what that clarity brings for my clients and people that I read for. So I share in that when it does happen. So, but yeah, the coins.
The coins. It'd be about the coins. I know. I got you. So do you have your, I don't know if you have your tarot deck next to you, but off the top of the dome, what card of any deck do you appreciate the most, and give us the meaning and why it resonates with you the most?
I don't have my tarot deck. I wish you would have told me. I
forgot to.
I bring her because I might have to lay the cards out for okay. It'll be very stereotypical for me to say the High Priestess. Okay, the High Priestess, but I'm going.
Why would it be stereotypical?
Because that's like, it's represented by the animus, or the anima, which is the divine feminine. It is the receptive, the psychic, the intuitive, she resonates across the board with most psychics, most readers, most clairvoyants. So it would be stereotype for me to just be like, oh, the High Priestess. A card that I've been seeing a lot lately that I haven't been seeing before, but I'm starting to see more of, is the Empress card. And that card has been coming out. And that card represents the mother figure, but more so in a creative aspect. She's always about, she's about taking care of her mind, body, and spirit. She's about valuing herself and her body and her spirit again. And she's also about creating. She's represented, or she's associated with the number 3, and numerologically that represents creativity, bringing, things forth into manifestation. So that card coming up for me lately is just definitely pointing me towards continuing to create, to continue to be a creator, continue to push myself, my brand, push, making new content, different ways of creating content, exploring, also being beautiful and being, feminine and pretty and all those good things. So it's just like that card I've been seeing a lot lately pop up in readings for myself. So I've definitely taken that on as a message and moving forward into the next step. But I love all the cards. All of them have a distinct message, and what's so beautiful about tarot is that you can lay any number of cards and get a different story each and every time. And even though you have a set number of cards of like, it's 78 in a deck. I hope I'm right about that. Because the girl is like, wait a minute. It's 78 in a deck. And, out of those 78, you see cards multiple times. Sometimes you can see 2, or you can see one card in multiple readings and read it different ways. So I just think that's the beauty of it. And also in developing my own personal reading style, I've connected more with relaying the story, relaying the aspect as a whole with my readings. I don't want to say that other people don't or do not do that, but it's just like my own personal style in reading. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Empress. The Empress card. And the number 3. That's interesting that you said the number 3, because the number 3 I've been seeing all week.
Really?
Yeah, angel number. Just 3, 3, 3, 3, 3,
Uh-huh.
3, 3.
So that is a push to keep creating, to keep driving, to keep pushing. It's saying that you have the green light to continue manifesting whatever it is, QBC, your own personal project, money, and then we just had this full moon in Capricorn, honey. So it was all about them coins, honey. And I don't know about you, but girl, I was out here trying to get that moon energy and get the coming in, get these books.
Get the coins. Get the coins.
I'm like, wait, yes. So definitely that's the green light for you. A number that I've been seeing a lot lately is 4, and also 1111, which reminds me to have structure, because I can be kind of aloof sometimes and trying to develop a routine, a structure, and getting things kind of practically laid out and planned. So definitely when you see those numbers like that, that means that your spirit guides and your ancestors, they're definitely communicating with you, and that you're seeing most commonly, that message is what they want you to implement currently in life.
Wow. Yeah, symbolism is a motherfucker, from nature, birds, and shit, animals, numbers, people that you meet.
Absolutely.
And have conversations with, music that you listen to.
Yes.
Like just lyrics of a song that you hear, like, okay, like you talking to me. You talking to me? Okay. So that's definitely for sure. So if it was somebody that was actually trying to get into tarot, like somebody who was interested and they were kind of battling, because you know how we talked about, especially in our community, a lot of our community is deep into the Christianity, and just kind of struggles with figuring out what it is that they want to do. What would you say to that person, or how would you guide them in a way? I know I was telling Jess, most people would say, well, just start, but it's a little bit more to it than that. So how would you guide somebody who really wanted to start tarot, but didn't know how?
I would say to first be accepting of yourself, be accepting that you feel this pull towards exploring your spirituality. Be accepting of yourself in the aspect that you will be going against the grain, that you're going to be a black sheep amongst your family, your friends, everything that you've known. It's kind of like the Matrix, honey. You might be taking that red pill. And also to be patient, because it does take time. Results are not immediate. You are going to experience some things that will shake you up, because the spirit realm is real. Our 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 level of connectivity with the spirit realm is very real. And I think in our culture and just in this world, we place so much emphasis on binding and chaining each other from exploring that aspect of ourselves, that we're literally in fear of something that's so natural and so universally dynamic to our overall being.
Right.
So it's about slowly but surely deprocessing and deprogramming yourself from that fear base, because you won't be able to explore that if you're rooted in fear. If you come to it and you're like, well, I want to do it, but I'm scared. And if I lay these cards out, is a spirit going to come jump out at me? I mean, then that might be your experience, because, you are what you attract, you are what you believe. And you just, again, you have to be patient with yourself, and you have to be accepting of yourself and wanting to explore that process. So that's what I would definitely say first. And then get your ass a tarot deck because you're going to need one.
Right. Right.
You're definitely going to need one to start. So, yeah, I wish I would have told myself that, because back then I was like, I went through it, you know, being not only hard on myself, but expecting immediate results, expecting myself to be good comparison. That's also, you know, looking at other people, what they're doing, how they're reading. Oh, I'm not as good as them. I won't reach there. And that's also a part of acceptance too, because what you'll find is that, and I know a lot of people do this, especially when they're just starting out, they want to look up different spreads, or who's doing this, or this type of reading, or is this the way to do it, or what did this person say? And it's like, yes, it's nice to learn and continuously digest and take on, and you have, but you also have to have that filter there to not become a carbon copy of another reader and what they're doing. Because this divination and the practice of it is about uniquely divining as yourself. You know, you're delivering the message as an oracle, you know, as you. So it does take a bit of individuality and faith in your overall spiritual connection, and trust in your guides and your ancestors, and developing a relationship with them, more so than it is about what deck you have, or what spread you're using, or what the Celtic cross, or whatever, you know, that we kind of accept it as the norm, you
Right.
know. And so, and crystals and all that other stuff, like that doesn't matter, girl. It's like, yeah, you can have a dozen crystals in your room and still be kind of basic as hell. So
That's right.
I would say that's definitely what I would say.
So what do you have up and coming? Like, I was telling Jess, I was like, yo, well, actually Jess told me, was like, yo, all three of us need to have a party. And you
Oh
know,
yes,
season coming up.
yes.
So
It's
only right if we do it.
Off like a glass or so, maybe something real close.
Right.
I would totally be down for that.
Yeah.
As far as what I have going on, I'm continuing with the monthlies. And what I'm going to do is, since August is my birth month, I'm thinking of doing a live, a YouTube live, and having like a little Q&A of people come in and ask me, I don't know, interview me or something, because I am too trying to break the mold that I've casted on myself, because in being trans, you know, one of the first things that you're delivered when you explore that aspect of yourself through the system of science, or through medicine, is that you're experiencing gender dysphoria, that you're experiencing a personality disorder about yourself, that you don't like yourself, you are battling against yourself, you're struggling against yourself. And for a long time, I've constantly been battling. Oh, girl, I'm getting vulnerable right now. Okay,
Come on, no. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it, right?
Let's talk about it. That's why we're here. Let's talk.
I've been really hard on myself about being on camera and about being present, because being trans, you know, for a lot of us, we try to reach this pinnacle, or this precipice of being super whatever gender we identify as. So for me, that's feminine or female. And any inkling of that that's not representative of that, or that reminds me of the other aspect of my gender, I'm hard on myself. I'm critical on myself. Like, you know, girl, I'm beat right now on camera, but I don't wake up like this. So it's like, that's also, again, another boundary in my evolution that I need to overcome. And so I've been pushing myself. I did an on-camera video for July, and just saying hi to everyone, welcoming them to my channel. I'm doing this now with you. So it's happening. It's definitely happening. And I'm definitely falling in love with myself more and more every day. And that's what the journey is about for most of us, and should be about for most of us, because I feel like, you know, just the gay scene or the LGBT community is more about pushing forth this facade, you know, that we have more, or this person is more slain, or this person has this much more going on. And yet in the shadows of it, we're all hurting. You know, we haven't overcome the traumas and the core, you know, insecurities that we have about ourselves, you know, and it's tough. I've been there, you know, like monitoring every picture I put up, monitoring how I appear on camera and things like that, because I've had instances where I've been bullied, where I was less feminine in appearance and was mocked or ostracized about it. So I've had to overcome my own dealings. And so I think spirituality was the alternative for me to explore myself more, not from a standpoint of superficiality of like, okay, girl, you're pretty and you have all this going on, but more so about letting my inner beauty exude from the inside, you know? And I think until we reach that point within our own community and promote that amongst each other, we're gonna continue to just, I don't know, like run into the same vicious cycle of beating each other up and verbally or subliminally or through vicarious living through other people and what they have and what we lack, you know, until we reach that journey. And I think a lot of us as spiritualists, and I don't know if to say this, but I feel like I might be the only trans Black tarot reader out there right now. And what is that saying? That most of us,
I've never in my life
you know, what is that saying?
When just put me on, I'm like, hey, what?
Yeah. So what is that saying about us as a people and my own people as trans people, that when our only focus and our only drive in life is to be the prettiest, or to be the most passable, or to pull the most guys, or to, you know, to live vicariously as a woman, you know, when that's the only driving factor to our existence, we lose out on so much. We're missing out on so much about really exploring ourselves and connecting and growing spiritually as well as physically, you know? So I think that for all of us, it's about time that we start turning inward. We start seeking, you know, more about ourselves from a level of depth, and not just through the gay community, which is good. It's supportive. It's universally supportive, and we've grown. We've overcome so much I mean, it's blessing enough that in this country I can be myself. I have the judicial system behind me enough that's like, okay, we recognize that you are this and you identify as this, so we're going to grant you that, because I have like name change and gender change or sex change on my identification and everything like that. Honey, yes, girl, I'm not playing with the kids. So I'm not playing with these kids, but also just taking that into account and remembering the blessings that we have in being in the West, because I couldn't imagine being anywhere else and trying to experience this life. It must be very tough. So weighing the good and the bad, weighing the good and the bad.
Wow.
Don't get sentimental on me now.
That is, wow. I mean, that is so real. Oh.
Go ahead, let it out. Go ahead, let me have it. Go ahead, boo. Go ahead, boo. I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here. Tell me what
I love doing this. I really do. I really do love this. I wasn't even trying to get sensitive and shit. I just
fine. I'm so honored to, like, literally when you first, I think, either liked something on my page or you shared something on my page, I was just like, I was so elated, because I was like, yes, we need this. We need you. Our community needs us to have better representation, to have spaces of inclusion, because you know what? We're not just the stereotype of club scene, sex workers. We are more, and we are here breaching these gaps and getting into environments that, you know, they didn't think we would. So we need better representation, because you know what? Someone's going to watch our interview, or someone's going to watch anybody else's interview that you do with someone, and they're going to feel like, you know what? I never thought of that. I never thought that I could do that because of who I am. So what you're doing is an absolute blessing. You know, it's an absolute blessing, and it's so rewarding to have that on your consciousness, girl. Like, you are doing it. You really, really are. And like, again, I said, I'm so honored to be a part of it and just share my little piece. So I want you to keep going. Keep going. I'm 100% on board support for QBC. I am. And I want to see, the spirits already done told me now. Okay, the spirits already done told me magazine publications. So we're going there. We're going there. Okay.
Yeah.
Publication, because this is it. This is it for the 2017 and beyond. Like, we need it. We definitely need it, and it's only gonna get better. It's only because we're not gonna settle for scraps anymore. No, we're gonna break down some doors, and we're gonna be visible, and we're gonna be proud, and we're going to be every motherfucking color of the rainbow that we want to be, and expressing ourselves. So, you know, the girls better get on board.
To the yard, to the motherfucking yard.
Yeah, because yeah.
For real. I and everything that you said, I completely agree with. It's like, this is what people don't see. This is what people, I mean, you hear it, but you don't. Like, you know, people going through shit. You see maybe like little clips featured on, you know, maybe BuzzFeed, you know, maybe an article or two. But you really don't know what's actually going on in our minds, in our heads, the things that the trauma.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I don't necessarily want to focus totally on the trauma, but it's some real shit.
It's real.
That needs to be talked about, that people need to let out.
Yeah.
It's people behind social media, hiding behind their avatars, suffering right now.
Yes.
But the only thing that they feel like they do have is social media to express whatever it is that they need to express. But they're holding all this stuff in, and who knows what the fuck's going on at home or what's going on in their head. You know what I mean? So I just, not even just QBC, because like I was telling my homegirl CM, I'm like, yo, this isn't just about me. That's why I don't really show my face on QBC like that, because this really isn't about me. This is a community. This is, I want everybody to come together. Like, when you see something on QBC, when you and they in your city, or they're not even in your city, and you might be going to their city, meet up with each other.
Right.
Talk to each other, not just party. Don't get me wrong, I love partying. You know what I mean? Love, you know what I mean? You know, love going to the club. You know what I mean? I love it all, but it's like, sit down and talk to each other. Besides, you know, social media, you could only text and type to somebody for so long. After that, before that shit just fizzles out. Build communities in the area that you in. Build communities outside of the areas that you in. Not just for pride, not just for the club night scene, but build. We have so many artists, architects, archivists, photographers, spiritualists, food, health and wellness, fitness. Like, we have so many different entities and just gifts. I'm not even gonna call it no fucking entities. We have people with gifts right now that can contribute so much to the communities that we already in. But everybody, it's like, not everybody, I'm not gonna tag everybody. I'm just saying, it's like, we just kind of sit on this rock. You know what I mean? And it's like, y'all, what the fuck are we doing right now?
Right.
It's we're in 2017. I don't know if y'all know what numerology is, but this is the year of the 10. This is the ending to a new beginning.
Hello.
I'm looking at my watch.
Hello.
It's time, bitch.
It's time. And everyone feels the calling right now.
Yeah.
Everyone feels the push. It's like we all are being called to represent something greater. And I don't want my life, and I feel like most of us in this community should just not want our legacy and our life just to be about clubbing and partying and you know, standing only coming out to show support on Pride, or only coming out, you know, for our happy moments. You know, we have to heal so much of the trauma that's actually going on behind the scenes. We have to. That's the only way that we're gonna be able to accept one another and understand one another, because when we don't, it creates this area of separation that it feels like, and I've had people say this to me, I've had trans people say this to me of like, oh, well, you know, like, you're so lucky, you're so pretty, you know, you don't have to go with what I have to go through and this and this and that. And it's like, you don't know my story. You know, I've struggled just as much, and I'm not negating, you know, physicality next to what someone else might go through, because okay, you might be going through something now, even to this day, since the day you started your trans journey or your journey in life in general, having hardships, but it's not to negate anyone else's. And I feel like in this outlet and just expressing myself, it'll also bring you know, relevance to, I struggle too, you know, like you struggle too, you know, pretty people or whatever people, they struggle too. And just because we have a dynamic or representation that is positive, that is light, and that is giving to the community, you know, we're all still hurting and we're all still growing and healing. So again, I think it's wonderful what you're doing, and continue to do that, because we are going to inspire people to see more and expect more of themselves. Okay, because that's what we need to get past. Because I mean, again, the legacy just for us can't be just clubbing and doing all this.
Nah, I didn't come out of my mama's punani
Yeah.
to come in the scene and just, oh, you know, I'm just here for the party. See you hoes later. No,
Right.
That wasn't my ancestors was like on the line, like, bitch, what are we
Right
doing?
Right.
What are we doing?
So it's definitely, I'm just, again, so glad to be a part of this. I'm so happy to have met Jess. I'm so happy to have met you. I'm just like, I'm telling you, when I saw QBC, I was like, yes. Like, and then when you shared my post, I was like, oh shit. I was
on the post. I was literally on the post. I'm like, who is this Dom? And then because it was Jessica. It was Jessica who said, I was like, who is this Dom? Interesting.
Now you don't, I told you don't do it. Okay.
But we gonna rain check this.
Right now.
It's our season coming up. Leo, Virgo, cusp. Just Virgo, Leo. So it's only right. So let me know when you free or next time you free, because I know you getting them. You know.
Yes.
Getting the coins, and you know. So let me know when you free, and sometime in August, September, whenever we can just that when I want to do a live. So for all of y'all that's listening right now, you know, I'm doing pre-recorded, but yeah, this is gonna be a live. It's gonna be me, you, and Jess. You know, I don't know exactly what it's gonna be about yet, but we'll get it cracking anyway. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we'll figure it out. So
it'll be fun.
Yeah, so, it will.
Much for having me.
Thank you for coming through, Aluna. I do appreciate you and your story, and you keep going with what you're doing, because your spirit is just, I just
stop making me blush. I'm glad. Let me tell you something. This melanin right now is really
popping.
It's really keeping. I would be so red. But thank you. I'm just, again, so honored to be a part of this. And hook me up with that video so I can share it on my account. Also, to
you.
let everyone know who's watching, I am on social media. You can find me on YouTube at Aluna Tarot. I'm also on Instagram at Aluna Tarot. So find me there. And yes, let's do this again, boo. I'm so ready.
For sure. Well, let me know if you need anything. I'll text you, and yeah. Well, I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna text you.
Okay.
All right, love.
Okay, bye.
Later, later.